Hey everybody, and welcome to an episode of United Talks podcast. And today we're going to be giving you the 5 things we learned from, the game between Manchester United and Brentford. It's over 24 hours since the game, and the dust is settled, and everybody's now focusing on Thursday. But we learned a lot of things, and we learned a lot of things from post-match and all of that. And we're here to bring it to you, and break it down to you every step of the way. So thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. If you haven't already, please do like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, so you don't have to miss anything as it relates to Manchester United. So the youngsters actually performed very well in this game, and we started with wholesale changes in the whole team and across the entire team. And I suggested in the pre-match, the match preview basically, that we needed to keep the spine of the team but also make changes. So Ruben Amorim made those changes. Matthias de Ligt started at the back, in the back three of Tyrell Ferguson and Luke Shaw, French players as well. And then we had Harry Amas and Patrick Dogu playing as wing backs. And then we had Kobe Menu and Manuel Ugarte playing as the 2-6s. And then we had Mason Mount and Garnacho playing as the 2-10s. And then Chido Obi making his first start. So here are the 5 things that we learned from the game, and we're going to break it to you down to every positive thing that we learned from the game. Albeit Manchester United lost 4-3 to Brentford. But it is what it is. We have to keep moving because our eyes are focused on Europe. Now, number 1, the youngsters didn't just survive, they thrived. They shined, and they basically came through. Ruben Amorim handed out opportunities to the kids, and they stepped up, basically. 17-year-old Chido Obi made history as United's youngest Premier League starter since Mason Greenwood. And while he was raw, basically, he showed real potential, and Garnacho and Ahmad stole the show late on with 2 high-quality goals that showed composure, flair, and confidence. And basically, this wasn't just about rotation, it was a glimpse to the next generation, and that is what I noticed in the game. Basically, it showed that obviously the next generation is certain, but we need players who can replace the current players in the squad and do the job that some of the current good players in the squad are doing. Like Bruno Fernandes was not in that game, and basically it was very key that it is very key that we take note of that basically without Bruno Fernandes in this team, it's like we lack a bit of creativity, and that is what happened. And it felt like the first half was a bit stale and a bit lethargic, albeit we had possession, but we were not making too many chances. Manuel Ugarte was trying to do a lot of things on his own. Kobe Menu was still not up to speed, basically. And so it was more like he was 1 step or 2 steps behind. But he was still playing. He was still making those touches and all of that. Mason Mount was also trying to be the engine, trying to be the creativity. He got the goal. Garnacho also created an assist for him and all of that. So, for Chido Obi, I already said it, that there's still a lot more things he can do to refine his game, but he's only 17. He's got a lot of work to do to get to that. And then Ruben Amorim also stated in the press conference when he said that basically you could see that some of the players were a bit naive, including Chido Obi, who was a bit more like naive with the way he runs or the way he attacks or the way he presses or tries to kind of hold up play. His hold up play was good. His first touch was good. He was winning balls and all of that, but he still wasn't fully involved in the game. And that's down to a lot of things, including the entire team structure and all of that. And especially with Man United over the couple of years. But that's what it is. Over to the next one. Number 2, priorities are clear. Europe first. With the second leg against Bilbao looming large, Amorim ran changes. 8 changes. Resting Bruno, resting Casemiro, and resting Rasmus, as well as Maguire. Masarawi, I'm sure, was given the day off, and Onana as well. So 8 wholesale changes were made. Lindelof as well was given, was rested, started on the bench. I think also in midfield, we had Casemiro. In attack, we had Bruno, and then in the centre forward position, we had Rasmus Højlund. So these are the players that were rested and all of that. But it is what it is. The match was never the main event. It was just a tune-up for Thursday's defining clash at Old Trafford. Yeah, albeit we're 3-0 down, anything can happen. So we have to just be ready, right? We have to be ready. We have to be fresh and all of that. So losing hurts, but a Europa League final could also define the season. And Amorim is playing for the big prize. If we win a Europa League final this season, it doesn't define that our season with regards to, we've had a good season. Everybody knows that we've had a poor season. But to end the season with a trophy in our banter era is good. It's a good sign. It shows that obviously we can still win, and then when we start winning, then we will know that over the last 10 years we've evolved as a team, and by 2035 we would say, 10 years, or maybe say 2031, 2033, we'll be saying, the last 10 years we've won this many trophies, even when we were in our bad season. And nobody's going to remember, at this point in time you were 16th or 17th. Yes, but the next season you made the Champions League, and it was worth it that you qualified for the Champions League. But it is what it is. We're not going to entertain all those negative talk from rival fans. It is what it is. Now, we'll move on to number 3. Number 3 is that Ahmad's return is a huge boost. I mean, this was Ahmad's first Premier League appearance since February, and he didn't just remind us only that we missed him, or showed us why we missed him. He reminded us why there's a hype around his name. His goal, a calm, composed finish, was exactly what United's attack was lacking in recent weeks, right? That X factor, that unique player. And I can't wait to see Ahmad play as a wing back when we start making signings in the summer, or even play as a 10. It would be good to have such versatile players around so we can move things around and try to win games, especially when we have so many games coming up when we start next season. So basically, we should expect to see more of Ahmad as we enter a season, the season's final stretch, with I think about 3 games or 4 games in the Premier League, and then 2 more games if we are to go make it to the Europa League final, right? So it is what it is. We're just going to have to build from there and all of that. So number 4 is that we have defensive frailties and injury woes continues. Defensive frailties and injury woes continues. Matthias de Ligt limping off was a big blow. And then with Lisandro Martinez out already, and also Aiden Heaven out, and a few other players, we are running thing at the back. Meanwhile, Luke Shaw is still clearly not 100%, evidenced by his moments of sluggishness, amongst other things. There's still some class there, you can tell, but the moment of sluggishness was evident there. And then also the own goal, which I won't say is his fault, was trying to defend and then eventually deflected the ball into the net, past Altabander, who started in net. Now, Brentford exploited these gaps clinically, and it's clear United's defense is still 1 or 2 injuries away from a full-on crisis. Now, I know that obviously in the summer they're planning to sign 1 or 2 players, and I think that we will need 1 or 2 players to make things happen in the club. And then number 5, which is last but not least, Eriksen still has it, but United need his successor. Christian Eriksen's introduction brought calm, control, and vision. Things that were missing until his arrival. If you notice, in the first half, it seemed like we were struggling, was a bit lethargic. There was no spraying of passes, no control, no tempo dictation, basically. Manuel Ugarte was trying to do things on his own. Kobe Menu was still not up to the paces and all of that. But the moment Christian Eriksen came on for Mason Mount, it seems like things changed. We had more control. We had more passing accuracy. We had more switching of play. And Christian Eriksen got an assist. I mean, there was a ball that Victor Lindelof tried to pass to Eriksen or Garnacho, and then Eriksen dominated for Garnacho. And then Garnacho dropped the shoulder. And I think even if you look at that game, you see that Brandon Buemo almost twisted his knee in that dropping of the shoulder, and then he laid the ball down to Eriksen, who did a 1-2 with Garnacho, who just got the ball, and then after dropping the shoulder on the defender, he shot the ball, and it was a worldie, right? Top bins and all of that. But it is what it is. We have to just keep moving on. We needed to score more goals. We needed to kind of try to draw the game or maybe win it. But Ruben Amorim also said that when we tried to draw the game, we lost connection. That is his word. Those were his words. We lost connection, and then they scored 2 goals. But it is what it is. So we're going to just give you some bonus insights onto what we learned from the game. First and foremost is that Garnacho, just moving along from Garnacho and heading into Garnacho again. Garnacho is turning into a leader. He may only be 20, but he's carrying responsibilities like a seasoned pro. He's going about his daily activities. He's going about his job, just doing what is needed of him to do. And then basically his drive, his confidence on the ball, his ability to create something out of nothing is becoming very vital, especially in games where the senior pros are rested. Now, one thing we cannot underestimate is Garnacho's importance to this team, especially this season. In games, especially in Europe, where we've lacked a bit of an outlet for a transition play, counter-attack, pressing, one-on-one situations, and that's the reason why Ruben Amorim likes Garnacho. That one, and he talks about it every time in his press conference. One-on-one ability to take on players and all of that, and to try things, and the fact that he keeps trying to ensure that he tries to get something out of nothing is evident of someone who is willing to work hard, despite the fact that at the beginning of the season he didn't really start well with regards to being punished and all of that. Then, he is no longer just a spark off the bench. He's a starter and maybe even a future leader in the making in this team if he stays, and if Manchester United don't sell him because I've seen a lot of fans online saying that they wanted Garnacho sold. But also we have to move on now. Number 7, which is the next one, which is part of the bonus points, is that Mason Mount is quietly becoming Amorim's guy, and has always been since the beginning of Amorim's era, right? Ruben Amorim has said it time and again that he loves Mason Mount ever since they actually hugged at the gym, right? When they first saw him, when Mason Mount was really injured at the beginning of the season when Amorim joined. Now, he has always loved Mason Mount, and he talked about him in the press conference. Mason Mount has scored his second goal against Brentford, the first goal coming against Brentford last season. He talked about Mason Mount in his press conference when he stated that obviously he loves Mason Mount because of his movement and the fact that he comes in as a third midfielder and his positioning and all of that. So, 2 goals against Brentford. Those are these 2 goals against for Man United and all of that. Now, Mount's movement, pressing and awareness suits Amorim's system, and that's what Amorim has said. And starting him in a rotated 11 shows that the manager trusts him. Now, Mount's versatility and work rate may also be why Amorim sees him as a key piece heading into next season. And Ruben Amorim kept saying some stuff like, Mount works hard. He works so hard that I want to even pull him out because he always wants to do stuff and always wants to make things happen. Now, another thing again we can say we learned from this game is that the strikers are still struggling, even though we feel that the young ones still struggle, right? Despite the fact that we had a young lineup, United centre forwards still struggled. Chido Obi struggled a little bit, right? Because it was his first start and all of that. But it feels like the whole thing is a graveyard shift for Manchester United when it comes to striking. And there were a few clear-cut chances, but Chido Obi created it for himself or took off scraps and all of that. But it has also become a pattern for United strikers. But whether it's down to service, whether it's down to movement, United will also need a reliable focal point in attack for next season. Maybe someone to just come and support and take the load off Chido and Rasmus and make it easier for them to thrive. Yeah, albeit Zex is there, but Zex is also a 10 pseudo forward, right? It is what it is, so we're just going to have to move on. Now, number 9. Amorim is willing to take risks, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing, but you notice that Amorim had a cheeky comment when he talked about the whole rotation and how it was exciting for the young players, but also a lesson for them. And it was also a fact that obviously this cannot happen for us next season. So fielding this kind of lineup away from home while chasing a top 6 finish is bold, but it also shows that Amorim isn't afraid to back youth, rotated smartly and prioritized big moments. Now, fans might also be frustrated with the league inconsistency, but the kind of conviction builds a long-term success. And many fans back Ruben Amorim. Many fans back him to deliver. Many fans back him to be able to turn up for Manchester United. But it is what it is. Now, over to the next one, which is obviously the last but not least, the 10th one. The fans were incredible again. And I've always wanted to say this. Over time, despite the result, United's away support never stopped singing. From Viva Garnacho to chants about Bilbao to Ruben Amorim's song, they backed the young team throughout. And it's no wonder Amorim mentioned the support post-match. The fan base is also buying into the project, obviously, and when the results go our way, it would make a lot of sense that we actually were patient, and even when it doesn't go our way, we still have to be patient. I've seen some fans online, I've seen some content creators, some big content creators slag Amorim, slag the players and all of that. The truth is, rebuilding only takes a lot of time, and this is for someone who just came literally in November. He hasn't built his own team. He's working with these players and all of that. Yeah, rivals are going to try to rile us up, but the truth is we need to understand that it is a rebuild. When Mikel Arteta started against Arsenal, started for Arsenal, managing for Arsenal, for someone who was just an assistant coach at Manchester City, he was never slagged like this. But it is what it is, because Manchester United is the biggest club in the world. It is what it is. We have to just keep moving. Now, final thoughts. Basically, just break down the whole thing and just summarize everything. This wasn't just a loss, it was a lesson. And that is what Amorim said. And that was what was most important for Ruben Amorim in this one. You know, a chaotic goal-filled match that exposed weaknesses, but also highlighted promise. And Ruben Amorim might have said it cheekily when he said stuff like, we cannot have this next season, which means that, okay, I'm telling you, the owners, sign new players. We're going to review that aspect of the footage of the press conference, and then you guys can have your say and let me know your thoughts and feelings about that. Now, the kids are exciting. The project is long term, and if Amorim can steer United past Athletic Club on Thursday, then this gamble will be worth it. That is what is most key. If Amorim can just help steer us and beat Bilbao, because anything can happen in football. Anything can happen. So we need to just go past Bilbao, and once we go past Bilbao and we're in the final, then this gamble will be worth it. Then we can now focus on the league, try to get some points while we prepare ahead of the final, whoever we face, whether it's Tottenham or whether it is Bodo Glimt. You never can tell. We've played good Bodo Glimt before, so anything can happen. So we just have to be positive, we just have to back the team, we have to support the team, and all of that. So let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. If you haven't already, please do like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as it relates to Manchester United. We're already growing as a community. We're building together. We're evolving together. So I would like you to just join this train and like, share, and subscribe so we can have very interesting and wonderful conversations to support the club that we love from the depths of our hearts. So let me know your thoughts and feelings about this. Let me know your thoughts and feelings about the rotations, heavy or light, or the fringe players. Obviously, we want some fringe players to leave and all of that, but it's not that easy. We still have to just build, right? We have to rebuild, and this is a rebuild that has been ongoing since November, right? So since Amorim joined, but it is what it is. We have to keep building, and we have to keep growing and evolving as a club. So let me know your thoughts and feelings about that, and we can build from this one. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, goodbye, and God bless.